Ladies and gentlemen, boys and NBs, I went ahead and did a little bit of reverse boosting to get that opening clip and to get those double executions in a row, which I actually did that 3 times in that game. 2 doubles and 1 triple. I got 32 total executions in that game and had 18 deaths, so 32 and 18. How many lobbies do you think I had to shoot over everyone's head, get 1 kill, and then 30 to 40 deaths to end up in a lobby that was that awful? You think it was 5? You think it was 10? What would you do if I told you it was just simply 1 game I shot over people's heads and I ended up in that absolute bot lobby? Make sure to like the video and subscribe. Before we get into this, over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed, and I've got so much to go over here today. I've listened to the most recent creator call for Season 5 with the agreement that I would not leak the call. However, I can talk about what I heard as well. So we're going to talk about the SBMM white paper as well as the creator call and what they're doing to Call of Duty, because it is not the game we've been playing and it's not going to be better. Like the video, let's break down this white paper. Okay, so like I said, that was just simply 1 game of shooting over heads, letting it end, which I did win. My team did win with me going 1 and 36. However, the very next game I got into, I was able to go 32 and 18 with executions only. With that game, I quite literally was able to run past other players, circle behind them, and execute them numerous times. Absolute bot lobbies. I feel bad for doing it to them, but it took me 1 game to get there. So you're always 1 game away from getting an absolute bot lobby. So let's break down this paper with, first of all, what is skill according to Activision? Number 1, they say it should be constrained between 2 numbers, so it's not actually 1 number, it's 2 numbers. You have a high number and a low number, and then anyone in between those numbers as well. If they have a high number in between or a low number in between, they're going to put you into a bracket together. That's going to make the lobby. They're then going to try to average those numbers as close together, so whoever has the high number, low number averages are going to go on 2 different teams. They predetermine which team's going to win, so one team is obviously going to be stacked a little harder than the other. It should be highly predictive. If we base your skill on a specific in-match performance, such as kills per unit time, it should also be a reliable predictor of your future performance as measured by this metric, meaning you should essentially perform the same no matter what game you're in, whether we decide you win or lose. It should be summable such that the average skill of multiple players is predictive of their combined skill. This allows for very efficient and predictive team balancing. Team balancing is very important for forming games where the outcome is unpredictable. Blowouts result in players leaving the game, which adversely affects the player pool. Now, they say elsewhere in this paper that you have a 3% chance of winning 5 games in a row. 3%, that's it. 3% to win 5 games in a row out of 100. Okay, so what's my percentage to go 5 in a row losing? Because I feel like that happens multiple times a week. Even if I go 74 and 7, I'm still going to lose multiple games in a row. It happens every week at least once. It should be capable of adapting to a player's ever-changing performance quickly. It definitely does that because, like I said, miss all your shots, you can get a bot lobby. It's real easy for content creators to do this. Not saying that I would take advantage of this. I just did it for that opening clip. I don't think you want to watch a whole video of that. It should be resilient. The overall skill distribution should remain accurate in all situations. Well, I already busted that, so there's no need to talk any further on it. With the first white paper they gave us, they told us ping is king, and well, they could not have lied through their teeth any harder. With that, we were shown ping was indeed king, sort of, but skill was a thing, and well, ping goes first, and delta ping. Well, here we have the hard stats on where ping falls. According to this, the better you are, the lower your ping will be, and the least amount of time you'll have to wait for a lobby. Now, lobby times are pretty quick, where I'm somewhere in the 70 to 90th percentile. I'm guessing I have a 3 KD. However, I do not ever see a ping of 40. My ping is typically around 70 to 80. This is awful, and this just completely takes this out of the equation. I live on top of a data center. I live in the DC area. I have New York, Atlanta, DC, and Chicago all under 60 ping from where I live. Numerous data centers that I can hit without problem. However, I do hear a lot of people speaking Spanish, which is no problem, which tells me most likely I'm connecting to Texas or Colorado-based servers, which would be 80 ping, maybe even to the LA servers, which also be around 85 to 95. So my lived experience playing this game is telling me that this graph is just factually wrong. I don't know what your experience is. You're gonna have to make this decision for yourself. If we break it down further, they're telling us that with this graph here, this is the difference in quit rates from the deprioritized skill test, where they took skill-based matchmaking down to about 5% for half of the community. Apparently, everyone loved it except for those highest skilled players who were leaving the lobby. Okay, so what we have here with this graph is them telling us that everyone loved loved when they tightened the skill bracket even more, except for the professional players, the best players in the world, the people who play like handler, prey, marksman, etc. All of these top-end creators, the best in the business, were the people who absolutely hated this experience. I'm not this good, and I can tell you I felt the SBMM this last week like everyone else, and I've absolutely dreaded playing this game. It feels like they broke it, and it feels absolutely awful. On the flip side, however, they also said they did a test with half of the North American server base, and they took skill-based matchmaking and turned it down to almost nothing. And apparently there, everyone hated it except for those best players in the world. So anyone that was under the top 10% of players literally wanted to uninstall the game, meaning they lost a large percentage of the player base for 2 weeks in that test. That makes no sense to me because every other shooter out here has essentially no skill-based matchmaking unless it is in rank. This is just a Call of Duty problem. I'm sure you will lose players if you take the skill-based matchmaking away, but they will come back. What you have here is a game that does not reward you for learning how to play the game. You have a game that simply rewards you for doing bad. You do good, we're going to punish you. And it actually shows that here because the least skilled players are leaving at a slower rate than those in the 20th and 30th percentiles, meaning the absolute worst players, not new players, are the ones that left the most. And that's because they've never had to learn to play the game. The white paper will be linked down below if you want to see a bit more on it, but I did want to show you one more thing and then we'll get into the creator call. This right here was their how to skill change over time. And this is what I was saying where it took me literally one game. I've highlighted here, you can read the whole thing if you pause. A player's skill value is updated on an ongoing basis, and that can be updated and reach equilibrium quickly. Overcorrection can lead to a large fluctuation in the skill of players that someone is matched with. I was able to break this, like I said, in less than 5 minutes. The skill-based matchmaking system is doing no one any good. It's just hurting the community, and you can see the times to play this game have been going up and up. And if you look at the current Steam charts, there are less people playing today by about 27% than there were this day 1 year ago. And then on the win rate graph, of course, I'm going to pull this up here because it's the observed win rate of a team in TDM given the difference between the sum skill of both teams. We can see that the win rates are significantly affected by small team skill differences. For instance, let's consider the lobby of 12 50th percentile players. Just one in the 80th percentile is in there. It corresponds to a 0.1 increase in raw team skill. That player's team would have a 70+% chance of winning. So what they're saying there is if you are in the 70th percentile, you will get put into lobbies of people in the 50th, and that's when you are carrying the entire team. These are the lobbies where you actually get to pop off. You'll get one of these fed to you every 20 or so games. We didn't get a number, but that's what it feels like. The system is just rigged to throw you a bone so you don't throw the game out the window and never play it again. All right, let's talk about this creator call. So I actually listened to the creator call, and I want to thank the person who gave me access. I cannot even say who gave it to me because they're not allowed to record or share it. However, what I did gather from this, and multiple other people have, JGod has said it, Geeky Pastimes has said it, and some of the other creators have as well. Neither one of these people gave me access, just for the record. But what you have here is the developers straight up saying that they want to take recoil out of the equation, giving very simple, predictable guns with very low recoil, upping the velocity on base guns to be somewhere between 900 and 1100 across the board, minus snipers because they can't be that good, and then give us attachments that give us extreme benefits and little or no cons, essentially making it to where you can throw any attachments on a gun, go into a game, and do well. There's no real skill there. You just have to be able to essentially aim at a target and then let your auto aim, or I'm sorry, aim assist, I'm a keyboard and mouse player, let your aim assist ride through for you while you bunny hop or drop shot. On keyboard and mouse, I of course have to keep my crosshair on the target, but that's really not hard to do. With the overactive movement, the bunny hopping, all of that, I look for them to slow that down, and from what I've seen of the footage from Black Ops 6, they are slowing the speed down just a little bit to make up for the omnidirectional movement. So what we're going to have is a lot of bunny hopping, jiving and diving, and it's just going to make for a very weird experience to where you're just going to be playing essentially like Quake or Halo is what the game will feel like. Not like an old school Verdansk feeling as everyone's hoping, because it's not going to feel like that. It will have that velocity, but the guns will not have personality like they did back then. The map design is entirely different. Look at Superstore. Superstore is nothing like it used to be. So with this remake of Verdansk that's coming, I do not think that we are going to see the same experience that we had in 2020. This is a bad thing, because with the new design of the maps, it makes for a much more inquisitive way of moving around the maps that played much better with a slower movement and a higher rate of recoil or skill gap. This allowed for players to be on an equal footing. Everyone had the same advantages at the start, which was their base knowledge of FPS games, and then the skill developed from there. And this was such a wonderful experience, and this isn't even about DMZ. Y'all know I love that, and I want it back so bad. This is about the Warzone experience. Warzone may have been at its worst during Modern Warfare 2 because Al-Mazrah was not a good battle royale map. Al-Mazrah was made for DMZ, and that was the mistake. Urzikstan would play incredible in DMZ, but Urzikstan is a battle royale map first and foremost. Same goes for old school Verdansk. I cannot say on this new Verdansk that has replaced the map Avalon we were supposed to get, but hopefully we will see there. So my closing thoughts with this section, where they're essentially taking the game and turning it into something that just caters to those people who know how to play the game already, so they can get their content to put out their videos and then just forget about it for the day. This is what's going to be what kills the game. Not they're taking away of SBMM killing it like they claim it would. They're literally leaning into get sweaty or shut up, and that is going to drive all of the casual players away from the game. I did want to touch on my DMZ returning with Black Ops 6 video very quickly. With the rumors that Avalon has been pushed back and they're bringing Verdansk in and they're following the Fortnite OG thing, or how we had all the old school PUBG stuff, I don't think we'll see DMZ with launch. We may see it later in the year, but with this creator call, it really sounds like they just want to turn Warzone into where you have 15 lives. It's essentially all resurgence and there's no skill to it. It's just a Twitch shooter. So quite literally, when you see somebody, you have to react and then let your aim assist ride it out and hope that you win. It's not going to be a skill-based experience. It's just going to be a bad time. And I hate to say it because I was really looking forward to Black Ops 6. I don't know, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think down below. But before you go, make sure to like the video and subscribe. But until next time, leave me alone.